Okay, all right. Let me move this. And all right, so for the people in the room, welcome to the monthly in-person meeting, and also for the people on the other side of the world or whatever you are. Thank you for showing up today and support us. And thank you. So we have few new faces. So thank you for coming and supporting us. And today we have a great topic. But before I introduce the topic, Rod has probably some uh, few items that he wants to go over. So
Housekeeping items, yeah. How are you guys? I'm happy to see you. Thank you, all of you who show up at the Maker in Actions, and hello to all of you who are online. We are definitely moving forward with a lot of new events. We've been having a lot of activity. Thank you to all of those who supported us at the Dark Arts Village, at RSA. You'll be hearing more from the RSA, or rather the Dark Arts Village, soon. We'll keep you posted. There will be other events where we will host it, but we want to make sure we had the dates pinned down before we let you know. Another thing I wanted to let you know is that we are actually supporting the iHack CTF, iHack NFT CTF, cryptocurrency CTF on July 15. I want you to understand that this is a competition that is sponsored by InChain, but most of all, there are cash prizes. And I don't think this has ever been done in Silicon Valley. We're going to have a capture the flag, a cryptocurrency capture the flag, where if you win, you are going to win cash. You're going to win dollars. So the idea is we're going to have some, first, we're going to have some workshops, free training. And this training will give you sort of a basic knowledge that you need to know in order to play the CTF, which will be from 9 to 12. And we're going to have like basics of auditing blockchain, auditing smart contracts, smart contract hacking. And then we're going to have the competition from 12 to 5. And those who win, the first three winners will get cash prizes. So I'm very excited about this. And then after this event on July 15, we have the actual pre-DEFCON event at Maker Nexus again. Thank you again, Maker Nexus, for having us. And we're going to have several CTFs. And we're going to have to try to put together teams for the upcoming DEFCON Hacker Summer Camp, rather, week, where we're going to be doing B-Size, Black Hat, and finally DEFCON. So we have these two events coming. All of them are hands-on. All of them you'll be keyboard on. And then hopefully by after DEFCON, we'll have good news about you, or rather about our conference, which we are considering bringing it back. I think we will bring it back. Marco and I are very optimistic that we can possibly do that. But we'll talk more about it on our pre-DEFCON meeting. I hope to see you guys soon and enjoy this meeting.
yeah. So again, for the people online, this is the first time that you're visiting us, you can go to meetup.com/Pacific Hackers. And here is a list of all the events that we're having. So today, this is the CyberChef, the one in July 15. All the information is there. And then also the one for the pre-DEFCON CTF. It's going to be a combined event with WISIS, the local chapter. So it's not the national one, but the local chapter. We try to promote and bring obviously more women. They have their own audience, and we want, since they don't really have a CTF, we want to make sure that we're sharing resources and stuff like that, so they can also have fun. And yeah, if you see like the pre-events, if you want to see what happened before, we have the events as well. If you want to watch the previous recordings, you can go to youtube.com/Pacific Hackers, and all the recordings are there as well. And obviously for the new people, so just as probably many of you know, as of last year, we not just do meetups or conferences, we became a nonprofit organization. where we're trying to help, pretty much everyone to get into the cybersecurity field. But, we also want to emphasize, the variance groups and the underrepresented groups, so they can, get, to the next level, especially get the right knowledge, so they can, when they go and apply for a job, they know what they need to know to go and perform that job. Let's see what else. So here are the websites, as I mentioned, pacifichackers.org. If you want to, help us, we have a donation page all the way to the right. You can click donate, but sometimes it's not just about money. It's also about, spreading the word. So if your company would like to sponsor us, or if even your company is hiring and they want, they can come to us directly, and we'll find the person, the right candidate for your team. So that's another way to help us, not just with money, but also spreading the word and talking to your company about, getting in touch with us so we can find them the next talent. Let's see. Okay, so anything else, Rod?
Nothing else to add. Just again, thank you very much. I enjoyed this meeting, and keep in touch. We also have a Discord where you can always be in touch with everybody, not only the people on the West Coast, but also on the East Coast, Europe, and all across the world. We have members. So again, we're going to have lots of activity, lots of hands-on free training, including cryptocurrency, blockchain training, and obviously, let me emphasize this, there will be cash prizes. You win cash. Not only that, there might be other companies in there which you may entertain interviewing with or talking about, maybe job prospects or preferring people. That would be great for you. That what we're trying to do is basically to put the community together and help those who are seeking jobs. I understand that times are getting a little tight and some people are actually getting laid off. So we're trying to do our best to help all those who are seeking jobs and those who want to break into the cybersecurity industry. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Some members of this meetup has lost their jobs recently due to the layoff. So, we're helping them to get their next job. If you have friends who are in the same situation, please, send it to me, send it to Rod. We'll be more than happy to help them, especially in the Discord page that Rod mentioned. There is a jobs channel where there's a lot of opportunities for jobs. So again, reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help you. With that, let me start with the actual presentation. Again, this is somehow very beginner. If you don't know what CyberChef is, I'm going to tell you what CyberChef is. And then also you're going to be able to practice with, some malware that I found that it was very interesting, and then you can use it. So CyberChef. So let me start before I even say more. So the topic for today's meeting is, okay. All right, hold on, let me swap this place. So let's see. Okay, I think you guys are seeing it. All right, cool. So today's topic is cooking cyber recipes with CyberChef. And before I do that, I just want to mention that the views and opinions are my own, and they do not represent the opinions of my employer. So any questions, concerns, anything regarding the class, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. And who I am, well, you obviously, for the two new people, my name is Marco Palacios. I'm the co-founder and vice president of Pacific Hackers Association. And, I've been doing not just the nonprofit, but we've been doing the meetup for 6 years now. And obviously we're growing in terms of content, in terms of what we want to do and spread the word in cybersecurity. I came from the IT background. I did 12 plus years of IT operations. I also served time in the military, where I was able to, become a veteran. I went to Afghanistan, and I have an alphabet just on certification. So I have several certifications from SANS, and it's just happened that I acquired them. But yeah, so that's pretty much about me. I don't want to bore you with that. Let's see. And then, now let's get into what is CyberChef. So CyberChef is known as the Swiss Army knife, and it's basically a very easy tool that you can use to make your life better. They do have a GitHub repository, which is right here, and they also have a live instance, right? And I'm gonna show you what the live instance is. The good thing about it is, like, for example, I pass it around. Actually, can you pass me that again? I show this paper that on Visa San Francisco, if you didn't have the chance to attend, I don't know if you can see it. They were giving out this challenge, and it was just basically a challenge that they use for their security engineers as part of their onboarding process. If you happen to solve the challenge, then obviously that means you know the stuff, and then you're gonna move on to the next round of interviews. So yeah, this was very fun. I actually have to be honest, I just found it today, and I was glad because it was just perfect timing. Okay, so anyways, the reason I say that is if you don't have a computer in front of you, that's okay, because CyberChef is online, and it's a web platform, so you can use it from your cell phone. So that's one of the great things about it. It's this one right here. Let's see, the live instance is this one right here, but I'll show you once I go through the demo. There is four main areas in CyberChef. The first one is the operations. This is where you're gonna, those are the ingredients that you're gonna be using to create your recipes, right? Your input, that's the information that goes in. So in this case, for example, this is the challenge. So that's gonna go into the input panel. And then once you know what you're trying to solve here, then you move the operations to the recipes section. And then that's basically an ingredient. So operations are ingredients, and then you're creating your recipe based on that, right? You put the input, which is the stove, and then it's gonna cook it. And then the output is basically the dish that you're performing. So that's basically, those are the main things that you can use. So there's two ways of doing this. Again, the local installation versus the web installation. There is pros and cons of this. So the web, obviously, it's just go to the website. You don't have to, there's no login, no nothing. But there's obviously some cons about it. If you're doing digital forensics, if you're doing blue teaming defense and stuff like that, you're basically importing information into someone else's website. So obviously that's wrong, right? So what you want to do in that case is create a local installation, whether on your machine or create a CyberChef server, which is basically, a website with a couple of files, and that's it. There's no like installation required. Is basically, putting the, when you're setting the web server, just know where the index for that particular website is, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So the pros of doing a local installation or as a web server in your company is that you're keeping all the files internally. You don't have to, nothing is going to be exposed. And obviously you're going to be able to save recipes, not just for you, but for your whole team, right? So that's a good thing. It's going to have the platform is going to save everything in there. The cons is that the files, how they're updated, it's basically it's a manual update. So it's not like a button that you push is going to download the new or the latest thing. It's not like that. You actually have to download the files and copy and paste them into the folder, and that's it, right? So that's probably the downside of that. And in terms of useful operation, actually, I think I skip one side. Before we continue, if you have a computer, go ahead and at least open the first two challenges here. The first one, and I'm going to show you really quick. It's the RSA platform that we use. Let me log out of this. So if you go to the rsa.baycyber.net, you can create a page. A login. You don't have to put like actual information. You can put so-and-so's name, whatever email, whatever username, and a password. Just remember your username and password, obviously, because once you log in, you're gonna need that information. So let me log in really quick. And there's some of the challenges there. The reason why I want to mention about these challenges is because, for one, the challenges that we put in this ETF, the first two challenges, you can actually use CyberChef to do it. You can do it on your phone if you want. Actually, that's how powerful this is. So if you go to the, this is once you're logged in, click on the arrow pointing to the left on the right-hand side, and then go to the challenges. And if you see the crypto or the malware, no, the awesome one, those are the files that or the information that you need. If you don't want, or if you don't want to access this because you don't want to create a new account or something like that, all you have to do is click on this CyberChef challenges, and it's basically going to take you to download this document, which is a all the challenges that I'm going to be discussing. So let me open that right now so you can see what I'm talking about. Give me a second. All right. So this right here, in case you don't see it, these are the challenges that I was talking about. Same thing, it's just different ways of doing it, right? And so just going through this, you're gonna be able to see that we have an awesome challenge, cryptography challenge. And as I discussed CyberChef, the main reason why I think CyberChef started is because, there was a lot of cryptography, challenges out there for CTFs and stuff like that. And they had like many websites. So they obviously wanted to find a way to make it easier and just in one tool have everything, right? And that's the reason why it's called the Swiss Army knife. I can go back to this page, but in the meantime, let me continue with the other stuff. So some of the useful operations in CyberChef is obviously, as I was mentioning, everything that deals with encryption or decryption, or encoding, decoding, it is very helpful. But not just that. What it actually now the power of CyberChef is when you're doing malware analysis, because now the obfuscation that malware is coming with, it's very it's sometimes very difficult to, and sometimes you have to use many tools to get the actual answer, to be able to have a malware just readable, right? Well, in this case, you can use just one tool to do it. And as I'm going to show you with a few examples, you're going to be able to do it. So extractors, you can extract URLs, IP addresses. So before, the way you used to do things is even with log files, right? With log files, you have to grab, like if you are a command line ninja, you used to grab things and have to do regex and stuff like that in order to find this. Now everything's like literally like right there, so you don't have to literally do anything. The pros and cons, obviously, of using CyberChef over the terminal line is the command line is that everything's there. You have to get out. However, it's not as easy, and especially at first, it will take you a long time to get around it. Because again, there's so many features, and they're continue upgrading this and updating it with new features that it's everything's very like you have to basically click up there in yourself in order to keep it up. So let me a second here. All right. So yeah, so those are some of the useful operations, and you will see them once we go to the examples. So building recipes. So again, I mentioned that in order to build your recipes, you need ingredients, and the ingredients are those operations. All you have to do, again, one option is drag and drop. The other option is, there's once you copy and paste code into the input area, there's a magic wand that it's basically gonna give you what I think it is, and it's gonna make your life easier. And I'll show you that. Same thing with searching operations. Well, in this case, ingredients. If you don't know, if you don't want to go through the whole list of the sections on each of the operations, you can actually use search for it, and it's gonna be very easy. And how you share the recipes? Well, actually sharing recipes is very easy. You can, once you have a full recipe like going, all you have to do is copy the full URL on that recipe, and then just send it that way to your team. The other way is by loading recipes. So let me show you something really quick. We have more people coming, so that's good. Give me a second. What is my window here? Hello, hello, how are you? Give me a second here. All right. Okay, I'm gonna show you that next once we start going through the whole thing. As some tips, regular expressions in CyberChef is gonna be your best friend, and you're gonna see why in the next few minutes. So with that, let me start going through the example. So have you guys been able to download the first file I mentioned, the CyberChef challenges? It's gonna be this one right here. So that's gonna be important, so you can start actually working on it. So let me. Yeah, definitely. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna put that all in the chat. So give me a second here. Here. All right, so the first one is the CyberChef challenges. So go ahead and do that and let me know once you're ready.
Can you just unselect it so it's more visible?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. And once you guys give me a heads up, I'll move that so you can have, here we go. By the way, the bonus one is actually this one right here. So in case you didn't have this is the one, okay? So yeah. All right, so let me, if you guys are ready, I'll so I can move on to the stuff. Give me a second here. Where is my other window? I have so many windows open that I don't know. Here it is. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Oh, that's not it. There you go. All right, so this is the file that I downloaded. Okay. So first one. So right now, as you can see, just based on my, let me zoom in here. I don't know if you can see it. But my, this is a local instance of CyberChef. I have not updated, in the last 2 months. The current version is version 9.38, I believe. So again, when they do updates, they will describe what the update is. Either they're, they're implementing something new, a new operation, or sometimes it's just a bug fix they're trying to fix. So if we just go through the first, actually, let me move this here. Hopefully you're gonna be able to see it. And if not, that's, I'll make that happen. So here I have the first challenges. So let's go through the easy one. So either you're using the CTF platform, which is this, or you're using the file that I told you to download. So so let's pick the first one, which is the cryptography. So I'm gonna select the binary input here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and paste it in here. I mentioned that at times CyberChef will give you a an output here, like what could possibly be, right? So obviously in this case it didn't. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't have the latest one, but I know this one is binary. So if you live in binary, it's just ones and zeros. So that's very easy. So here are your options, right? The first option is just type binary. And then here it's going to give you basically the different options that you have for binary, right? So in this case, I'm going from binary to SCSI. So I want to know what it means in plain English, right? So all I have to do is, basically drag and drop, the operations to the recipe. It's going to take a while. Okay. Okay, this one is not working. Give me a second here. Let me refresh this. And that's when, again, tools fail. So bear with me. Okay. All right, let's keep, sorry now. So we have the door that it has a ringer. So in case you're hearing it, oh, I guess someone opened the door. So, all right, let me. This is the magic one that I was talking about, right? So before I mentioned that you can drag and drop. This one, all I have to do is press on it, and it actually will move the recipe from it. So the first one you say it's not taking it. It should. Now, I have to say that when we were running this, we were running into different issues because I guess the questions were some of them like transferred to like all uppercase, and some of them like all lowercase. So in this case, like this won't work. Yeah, I took it. Yeah. So the first one, like for this one was, yeah, yeah. Welcome to your first CTF. Yes. Really interesting.
I think, or you turn screen, I think it failed for you too.
Oh, really?
When you submit it, it pops up and says incorrect flag. It turns green anyway.
Oh, that's very interesting. All right, well, that's a flag. So if you didn't get it, that's okay, because that's a flag. All right, so let's go to the second one. So let's, so few items in CyberChef here. Let me, I hit this. So the best way to erase this, instead of just reopening a page or something, is just basically clicking the clear recipe from this section here. And also there is a trash can in here that basically clears the input and output, right? So by doing that, that goes away. So now let's do the second challenge, which what do you think this is? I know some people in the room are very know about this.
Like base 16 to me.
Okay, all right. So from here it says from hex will produce this. So just by clicking that, it will give you the answer, which is keep it up. You're doing great, right? So that's hexadecimal. So where binary is just ones and zeros, hexadecimals is just base 16, right? So 0 through 9, A through F. That's it. All right. Let's see. So this one, not many people know about it. What do you think this is? Without clicking on the button yet, what do you think this is? Base 64, okay. And how do you know it's base 64?
64 different cards.
No, because it could be, you know, it could, I'll show you a challenge where it has like, I don't know how many lines of code and it's base 64. So there's a few things that you have to keep in mind. When you see the two equal signs at the end, more likely that's base 64. Also, at the beginning, not this one in particular, but I've seen a pattern with I don't know what's the actual name for it, and I apologize for that. I'll look it up for you, but it's basically the hex, the forensic ID, just like the the JPEGs have like a certain it starts with a certain number or letters, or exes or so on and so on. Base 64 is very particular on that. So as long as it has like a two, or at least one, I've seen ones too, one equal sign at the end, that more likely it's base 64. So again, I'm gonna use my magic wand, and yeah, in fact, it says from base 64 will produce this, which, do not get frustrated. It is part of the learning process, right? So that's, base 64. Now, as we go through the CTF challenge, there's obviously, more difficult ones. Like this one, for example, this one is, it's encryption. So unless you work on that field, you will know what this is. Any guesses what this could be? It's ROT, yeah. Yeah, it's a ROT 13. Here you go. So again, this is very, it could look very easy or frustrating when you look at it first, like what the hell is this? And if you look at it, let me erase this. You notice that in the output, CyberChef didn't help me. This time it didn't give me the magic wand, which means CyberChef doesn't really know what it is, and instead of giving you a random answers, it's just going to give you, not give you anything basically at this point. So again, if you're familiar with this stuff, then you're gonna start, putting here what you think it is. Like for example, the gentleman here, it says Caesar. Okay, let's try Caesar. Yeah, let's see. I don't think this one has Caesar. Oh, Cypher. They have Cypher Decrypt. Not sure if this is the one, but again, the good thing about here is that you can keep trying different stuff, right? And you can use one thing that you can use in here is also entropy, which in entropy, what basically does is, it gives you how many letters it has, and maybe it's just a pattern that you have to find. And that's basically another way of encryption, right? So I don't work with algorithms, and I don't work with, the different encryption algorithms or anything like that. I just happen to know some of them because as part of my job, I have to know, but, it's just a learning experience. Unless you are dedicated to do, this type of algorithms, then you're good to go. Otherwise, you're gonna be like me. You have to be, adding stuff in here. If you're wondering, like, let's say, how do I remove just one ingredient from the recipe or operation in this case, all you have to do is click and drag to the right, and it will disappear, right? So that way you only keep the ones you want. So in this case, we say it's ROT 13. Also, keep in mind that in here, it goes by order of precedence. So the ones on top will go first, and then the ones at the bottom will go next. If for whatever reason the ones on top will not doesn't work, or it's not what you want, either you can disable it by clicking this button, which is the disable operation, or you can just remove it in general, right? So that way the next one is going to become available, or it's actually going to take the actions from it. All right. Yeah. Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, for the ones who are still catching up. So, I already gave kind of like the presentation, but as I go through, basically I'm talking what I mentioned on the slides. These are the challenges that I was talking about. are in here. So if you wanna, I can wait for you if you want to. What
Do we turn in the challenges?
do you mean?
I mean, is there, do we put in the answer?
No. This is just for you to.
Oh,
No, there is a CTF.
Well, there is a CTF.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, actually, I got it.
Oh, okay.
there is. a system.
You go to,
This one.
RSA.bigshot.net.
So there is a CTF. So it's the RSA by cyber.net. That's where the crypto and the what was the other one? The awesome one. It was available, right? So yeah, for the gentleman in the back, let me go back. Those are the actually it's right here. So those are the platforms. What I will suggest, if you don't want to create an account in rsa.baycyber.net, just go ahead and download the challenges, which it gives you this note text, which has all the challenges that we're going through right now. So like I said, I can wait for you. So go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is the little pause button that's above the ingredient, for example, like on CyberChef?
This one, oh, sorry.
Yeah, like if you pulled up Rot 13, yeah, the little pause. What's that mean?
It basically, it's also the same thing as if you're turning it off. It doesn't really like, it just skips it basically. That's what it is. Now, this one, it completely turns it off, where this one you can pause it. Like if you want to keep it enabled, but you don't want to use it like in this first round. Since I'm here also, I want to mention one thing. As you notice, as I was inputting things and I was adding operations to the recipe, they were auto baking. And that's the reason why is because the auto bake is on the bottom, right? It's select. For files that are very large in size, and I will show you a few, it's not recommended to do the auto bake. Otherwise, it's gonna take a while. Okay, so like in the example that, or the question that I'm not sure who asked it for the pause. That's if you don't have the auto bake enabled, you can manually bake it as you go. So if you want to skip it one time, you can just basically it's just gonna be a skip button, where the other one is just gonna disable it completely. So
Thank you.
that's basically the difference. Any other questions on the other side? Sorry, I'm. Let me see if I have more questions on the chat.
Use the file, now we can also check where the file is.
Where? Which one? Sorry.
Under the CTF, and it says-
Oh, in the CTF, they are in the on the desktop.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Any other questions on the other side? If you have questions, please try to post them in the chat, and I'll try to see the chat as early as possible. So yeah, so we have a Zoom that you can join, but so the meetup so we post the Zoom link on the same day of the meetup. So earlier I pasted the link for Zoom, and we do it for two reasons. One, because I forget before, so I know I have to do it like on the Saturday. So one, and two, because obviously we want the people to come in and learn, right? So that's the other reason to do it. So, but yeah, if you see that is more convenient for you to do it remotely, we offer this remotely as well over Zoom. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No. So no, it's just this. So thank you for clarifying for that question. So we so for the people who are new, which are a few people now, we gave this presentation a presentation at RSA. and we use this platform at RSA. So that's why it's called rsa.baycyber.net, because that's the password, that's the platform that we use for that. And it was just a basic CTF, as you can see. You can play it. For the ones that came in late, we're gonna have a CTF, 2 CTF events next month. July 15th is gonna be the NFT CTF, and I'll put this in here. So Ainshine, it's a crypto company, and they're gonna create, they're gonna have a NFT CTF.
That's the hacker dojo, right?
That is in Hacker Dojo. Oh, good. So we hope to see you there. And then on July 29th, we're gonna have a joint event with WISIS, the local chapter, and we're gonna have multiple CTFs, not just the RSA one. We're gonna have crypto CTF. We're gonna have Wireshark CTF. We're gonna have just a bunch of CTFs, and also we're gonna have the no coder CTF. If you win for that one, obviously we're still working on the details, but if you win that one as a solo player, you get to go to RSA. I'm sorry, you get to go to a DEF CON with a free ticket, basically. So that's a prize, free ticket to DEF CON. Okay. So more into that, but we'll discuss that on the meeting. Are you able, sir? Were you able to download the file and look at the challenges? Gentleman in the back. Were you able to download the challenges that I was?
No, I just got your Zoom link.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, if you just go to this link right here, the bit.ly, that's the file that you need right now.
So that you are talking about that Zoom chat.
Yeah, let me,
Everybody in the room also join video.
yeah, let me,
Yeah, okay.
okay, so user is having a blink. Yeah, actually, let me go into that because apparently the users at the CTF also had issues. So let me see that. Let me go over that one. And I'm just gonna paste the files again in case you guys need it. So the RSA CTF, that's you can use a platform. By the way, this is for only the first 2 challenges, because after that, as you can see, are different stuff that is not gonna be on the RSA CTF. So my recommendation is, just don't spend much time on the RSA.baycyber.net, because we're gonna be moving on the other challenges. The last challenges, if you look through the bottom, these are actually malware. So my advice giving you right now, do not copy and paste this, paste it into Notepad, and change the extension from .txt to .exe, because that is actually malware. So now it's in a way that it's not executable or anything like that. It's just we want to do malware analysis on it, right? So, but just as an FYI, and I'll repeat this again once we get there.
So the whole for next level, the same agenda.
Yeah. See, if you download the CyberChef challenges, that's the one we're going to be using.
Basic information. I got your Zoom and connected, and I checked.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So, all right. The next one. The next one was challenge number 5 on the RSA challenge, and also no problem. And also on the CyberChef challenges. In this case, it gave me the Morse code, but well, I already mentioned it. So where do you normally see Morse code? Obviously, it's in the military, right? they make you learn. Yeah, here you go. They make you learn that in case you are, became a prisoner of war or POW, and you want to send a message encrypted. And I don't know if you ever saw, there's this POW from Vietnam who he was giving an interview by, I don't know how it was, if I remember correctly, but basically he was blinking with the eyes, and that was the message. So the message obviously was help, but he was able to create a blink, something like that. This closing the eyes meant it was just the line. So something like that, and then something like this, and then close one, close two. So there's many ways. Also, when I was in the military, that was something I had to learn. So let's say that we were like in two different rooms. You can do the same thing with tap. So that's why I said tap, tap, and then tap. And then you can hear the difference, and they make you remember that, because again, if you become prisoner of war, that becomes useful. Did I actually learn it? No, I did not. I was not in a combat position, so I didn't think it was necessary, because I said, I can do encryption, basic encryption in the computer. So, anyways, long story short, I do not know Morse code by heart, but there's people who, especially special forces, who basically they go through a whole test and talk in Morse code, just for that. All right. Correct. Yeah, that's the reason why. So when, like, let's say they were on cells, like that was how we were supposed to do it. Like,
Flashes too, doesn't have to be audio.
that, right. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. So different ways. Again, it's just basically, if you look at it from this perspective, it's just binary, right? Ones and zeros. It's on, it's either on or it's off. But then how you're, doing it, it's, how translates to something, right? And obviously, it's not that you're gonna have a whole conversation, but mainly it was for like, are you okay? I need help, or something along the line, like short messages. It's not like giving a whole conversation, but the basic meaning was to talk to others and tell them, oh, I'm alive, or I'm not okay, or I'm sick, or something like that. Yeah, exactly. So definitely, if you're same thing with sign language. I mean, we're different from the topic, but same thing with sign language. I see many commercials with a little girl giving a, I don't remember, something like this, something like that. That means it's like they need help. Yeah, the help sign. Yeah. So look at that, because that's similar to this. It's just code that people will not understand unless you know. So if you learn those type of codes, it might save your life. So don't discard that, because it might save your life, believe it or not. Exactly.
No, but the lady just on, I think, DoorDash.
Oh yeah, I saw that the other day. You guys care about it or no? So there was this girl who was, I want to say like girl, like minor per se, but she was young. She was basically kidnapped by the boyfriend. The boyfriend did not allow her to talk to the outside, took away from her phone. So the only time that she was allowed to use the phone was to use DoorDash. So on DoorDash, she basically put place an order, and in the notes, to the driver, or to the in this case the company, the restaurant, basically said, I'm kidnapped, I need help, please call the police. So and this was in New York. Basically what happened, the cook at the or whoever got the order at 5 o'clock in the morning, she didn't know what to do. So she called the owner and say, what do you want me to do? And say, call the police. So obviously at this point, the boyfriend was expecting the driver to come in. So when they knock on the door, he opened the door. It wasn't the driver, it was the police. They were able to basically save her. And that same boyfriend also kidnapped another person, another girl. So they opened an investigation. But so now just using tools that we have available to us, just as simple as DoorDash can save your life. So again, keep that in mind because it's a real thing. So all right. Yeah. You know what? That actually surprised me. But again, she make the selection and place the order. And once the order goes, unless you see what you order, the history, more likely. But it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it was just like, oh, here's the cell phone. Just order that and give it to me. I mean, I'm trying to to see what actually happened, right? It's like, here, I just ordered. I'm watching you, and like you're right there. Like, let's pretend that I'm the guy and you're the girl. You are doing it, and I'm watching you. Like, I'm not seeing you that you're calling. I'm not seeing you that you're texting. I'm just seeing you that you're swiping, right? You know what I'm saying, Pin? Like for placing the order and pushing, like not like you're texting, but the minimal like you could do on your phone, like not for communication, right? So anyways, okay, hold on, my battery's about to die. Hold on. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose everybody here. Give me a second. Okay, all right, cool. All right, so moving on. So for the question that user had about having problems with the number 5, if it's not working all capitals, try just the uppercase on each letter, like M, C, I, C, and all that. See if that works. If it doesn't work, otherwise, again, just remember that this is just for practice. Just happen to get those questions, and we're using them for the workshop. But that's it. All right, so I'm gonna move on. So on the cyber challenges, I am going to let's see, select this. Now I'm gonna give you a heads up right now. So this one was a interview question, and the question was, basically, what is the source and destination IP and all that. When I start seeing this, automatically, if you come from the networking background, you are automatically think it's like, oh, this is like TCP/IP, and basically that's what I'm trying to look for. So then you can start searching for TCP/IP checksum, or do what was the other one? Network decodes. What was the one I use? Or IP. Yeah, here you go. Parse IP from here. Here you go. So let me move this. And you can see here that this is just a snippet of it, but it gives you the information here, right? So what is the source and destination IP? Well, here it is, right? So let me make that. So those are the IPs that you have. I don't remember if I actually asked for the source and destination port, but that's basically how you get it. Decimal dump. This is another one, and this one is actually very interesting. So this one, so first of all, what do you think this is? Because this is not an easy question.
Well, it's
actually,
it's in decimal format.
Okay.
Not and you can just use the file, the text file.
Okay. So I'm gonna load. So see how I loaded the recipe? This is the recipe I created for this. And I'm gonna cancel everything because I wanna go through every single step in here. So from decimal, this obviously decimal, you wanna go from decimal and it gives you this, right? So in here, just by looking at it, like I mentioned before, sometimes it has just one equal sign or two equal sign. That more likely tells you that that's base 64. So at that point, you enable base 64 and you get more of this. And you are like, what the heck is this? Like, this is not English. Like, okay, what am I have to do here? There is a option in CyberChef that is called extract files. And by extracting files, more likely you'll find the answer. You can click on every single one. And in fact, we're gonna go through the whole thing. If you just click, let's say, images, it will say it's 0 files. Let's try video, 0 files. Audio, 0 files. Documents, 0 files. Applications, 0 files. Archives. Oh, okay, I got an error. Sometimes this type of errors, that doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. It just means that it might need something else in here to extract it. So like, for example, ignore failed extractions. What if I do that? Here you go, becomes available. Okay, so this is a zip file. Okay, normally what I used to do is download this file. You can just click in this and download the file and extract it and see what's the contents. But you don't have to do that anymore in here because there is an unzip portion. So by doing that, all I have to do is, enable it, right? And there is a file here called A. Now you're thinking, okay, how am I gonna see the file? What's inside the file? Well, there is, just like in the terminal, there is head and tails, just to see what's the top or the bottom of the file. You can search for head, drag it, and it will tell you like the first, the head. If you just want to see the bottom of it, which in this case is a small file, so it doesn't really matter, but you want to see the bottom part of it, you can just drag it. And in this case, we'll give you the same thing. But if it's a longer file, then you can use it. So from here, again, it's base 64. I just want to know. So the questions that I put in here are, let's see, what's inside the question? What are the questions? So now that I know this is base 64, I can enable the base 64, and here are the questions. And I said, bonus, what is the correct answer? So what's the correct answer if anyone wants to give it a try? And you can Google it, that's fine.
To ask them what's in the file?
No, what's that? We already passed the zip file. What's what's inside the zip file? There's a file. Yeah, and then there is a okay, someone in the chat says D. Does everybody agree with D? Which is Kerber Austin. So the question inside the A file, or inside the A file, there's a base 64 encoded question. After decoding it, it's basically this question, which is, which of the following attacks will allow an attacker to recover plain text password for service accounts? So someone in the chat says D. Everybody agree with D? Okay, cool. D it is.
Unless there's a really strong password, right?
Here we go. A better answer for that. Sorry, go ahead.
When you click on download the file, where does it download to?
Your download files, yes.
Oh, so in places
So good point. So right, so good point. So again, as I'm going through the malware stuff, which actually that's where we're going to. First rule of things, obviously, I'm doing it here because I know this is safe. ish, which means I'm not detonating it, right? But I'm just showing you to see what it's inside those files or what is inside the obfuscation and on that particular malware. But that being said, best practices is if you're going to be doing this type of analysis, you're going to be doing it in a sandbox environment where you can, right, not even the computer, but a virtual machine, that's it. Or if you have an actual computer that you don't use for anything else other than, CTFs or whatever, then you can use that. All right, so now we're actually going to the fun stuff. Why CyberChef is becoming like the thing. So we're not, at this point, we're not using the CTF, the base cyber CTF anymore. If you want to continue with that, more than welcome. We're gonna have that back on July 29th. So so at least you're ahead of the game. You're still gonna get a price for that one. It's just not gonna be the DEFCON tickets. So anyways, all right. So exercise number 1 on malware analysis. So this is very common, by the way. So if you don't know, where I currently work is an MDR solution, and I provide, I do triage on customers' environments for events that the EDR gets, and a lot of the events, or I want to say at least 40% of the events I get are PowerShell with basically this basic command, which means, this is a PowerShell command. These are some of the parameters with execution, bypass, and then again, more parameters. Now you want to know what this is, okay? So I already have a recipe for this, because there's many things that you want to take in consideration here, all right? So the first one is, and let me turn everything off. When I mentioned before on the presentation that regex is going to be your best friend in here. When you have something like this, and if you just turn on like the from base64, sometimes it might or might not work because it has some information here. So what you want to do is separate that, right? And there's many advanced ways to do it, but the best way of doing it in this case is just create a regex where basically you're looking for anything that is above 30 characters, and that's basically the only thing that you're gonna decode, okay? So once you do that, you can, well, by default, it becomes highlight matches, but in this case, all you want is list matches, which in this case, if you see the difference, with highlighting matches, it gives you still the process, or the executable, the parameters and all that, and highlights the base64 encoded. But if you only do list matches, then it only highlights, or actually displays the base64. At that point, you want to do, continue with your investigation, right? So now I can enable from base64. Okay, so now you decode it and you're like, okay, what is this? Everything has a lot of dots, it's not readable. What are the next steps in here? Well, there's 2 options. Again, one option doesn't work all the time, just like the other, right? You just have to keep playing until it becomes readable. When I see this type of stuff, automatically it's like, oh, I have to decode the text. So in this case, I'm gonna decode it with the UTF-16 LE. And as you can see, it becomes readable. So it gets rid of all the dots and the extra characters that you don't need to make it readable, right? But just when you add the decode text, automatically it's gonna come with the UTF-8. And then from there, you have to basically click and click and click until you find, the one that you basically works, right? Which it's tedious. The other easy way, and again, it doesn't work all the time, but most of the time works, it's removing null bytes. which is basically doing the same thing. It's removing extra characters that you don't need. And now this is it, okay? So bonus questions here. So if this is a CTF, so in this case, this is part of my work, all right? So, and if I have to make a block to to on a firewall, or I have to provide that to a customer, all they want to know is give me the site. So instead of me going in here and highlighting it, that obviously takes time. So there's actually an URL extract, which basically extract URLs, which basically all it's gonna do is extract the URL for you. That's it. It obviously has options. You can display how many URLs found on the malware. If it has multiple, you can sort them out by alphabetical. And how many are unique? Because again, maybe it's just calling the same command and control center, but you just want to make sure how many are unique, right? And these are the URLs. All right. So now let's say that you want to share this. If I share this on an email, what does or Word or any products, what will it happen if I copy and paste this into a document?
Get a warning. It'll probably get blocked.
Well, no, but this is just copying it into Word. What will it happen? Sure, go ahead.
Become a hyperlink.
There you go. It become a hyperlink. How do I make it not to become a hyperlink? Well, I can define it. Hey. So by defining it, it means it's taking away the characters that makes it an active hyperlink, right? In this case, so let me turn it off so you can see the before and after, right? So you will see the HTTP, you will see the dots, you will see a bunch of stuff there. By defining it, it's gonna add like instead of HTTP will be HXXP, which we know it's not a protocol. It will have the square brackets around the dots. It will make it for you. So now this is actually safe to just like basically copy and paste it into Word, and that's not going to make it a hyperlink. So that's a good way. In this particular case, there's no, I don't think there was, probably there's going to be more in the future one. No, I did have some questions there. By the way, this was another question for, actually, you know what? If you correct the, for that particular question, I think there's a separation, like there's an enter. So continue with that, there's more information. So not sure what you're using, but basically in mine, you have to copy line 70 and line 71, and that, just go ahead and paste it, and then it gives you like more information here. So it was just separated in case you're running into trouble. But in this case, it doesn't give me an IP address. So, we can call that good. All right. So next one, exercise number 2. Oh, actually, the questions for this particular one is, what encoded mechanism was used here? Well, in this case, it was base64, right? And then what is the URL, for this script? Well, we know it's this one, thebadside.com. And then what is the name of the files that it was trying to use? Well, in this case, you have to go back and basically look at the files that it was trying to use, right? So then you can get an idea of what is that, all right? Let's see. All right, cool. Let's do number 2. So again, I have another recipe that it was already that I created, because again, it's just a lot. And by the way, at the end, I'm gonna provide you with all the recipes that I created. Um, in fact, how about, well, now I don't want to spoil it yet. So, well, let's just that you're gonna, uh, we're gonna do that at the end. Okay. So here, same thing. What you wanna do is create a, you know, uh, from base 64, but you also want to do regex, right? So regular expression. And as I put it in here in the tips, you know, this is the one that you need to use for base 64 because that's the one you want, right? So if you have those handy, you know, it will make your life easier. Here, so here you go. So first, again, just to go back, what I did first, I list the matches, so that way I'll have the PowerShell that -e, which is encoded, and then I just highlight, I list the matches for that, so it's just that. I base 64 it, so same thing, gives me a lot of dots. So removing null bytes, you know, obviously, it's going to remove a lot of the dots. But what's going on here? Well, there's a lot of like concatenation, you know, so a lot of pluses, a lot of dashes. So the best way of doing it here is find and replace. And normally you will do this on a, you know, notepad or something like that. So, but you have to do that because you can do it in here, and you can see the progress as you go. So to make the live short in this particular one, I had a lot of find and replace for the different stuff that I found. And I was just copy and pasting from directly from here to the find and replace. Make sure that when you do find and replace, by default comes as a regex. Make sure that you change it to simple string because that's basically, you know, it's not gonna use the regex operation. It's gonna be a normal one. So I kept doing it until I found, you know, more readable. So after, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 6 final replaces, I was able to make it more readable. And I still, as you can see, there's still is very, you know, not really good, okay? So there's two options that you can do in here. You can do beautify code, generic code beautify, and see if it gives you something, which in this case it does. But sometimes it's still, there's a lot of information. Or you can just split it. In this case, if you want the, actually, I'm gonna show you something. So if I do extract URLs, look what happens. It doesn't give me the URLs by, you know, by line. It's just basically thinks that it's just one big URL. But as you just going through this, there's many HTTPs, right? So like if I say how many display the total, there's one because it's taking it as only one, right? But if you split it by in this case, the separation is asterisk, then it becomes different ones, right? So like without extracting it, you can do the split and you can see that the within the code, right? It's gonna be one by one, right? And then to make it just easier, just extract the URLs. Before without splitting it, it was just one, right? So now if I do display total, now there is 7 bad IP or URLs, right? In this particular one. How many are unique? It looks like all of them are unique. So the 7 were unique. You can sort it as I mentioned, and here you go. Now here is sorted out. Not sure how though. Oh, okay. It looks like HTTPS, HTTP. Okay, cool. So that's just another way. The next is exercise. Oh, you have a question? Sorry. Right here. Right here. There is an operation called split. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So again, if you're behind or something, start playing with it, especially because I don't want to take your whole afternoon. I just want to make sure that you you have really good content, because this is literally something that you can take at your workplace and apply it. So next exercise is example number, or exercise number 3. Let's see here. And of course, I did had a question in there, so you don't have to answer it to me, just answer it to yourself. So in this one, oh, let's see. Right. All right. So this one, now heads up on this one. This one, it's not, this is the part where you need other tools to make things happen. So I'm gonna load it. This is exercise 3. Well, as you can see here, and we're just gonna go through really quickly. As you can see here, it looks like there's a lot of strings that are concatenating, and at the end, you know, you can form the base 64 message here, right? So, but just by looking at it, there's no way that you can do this in here. There might be ways by finding and replace to do it faster, but in this case, we're gonna use a tool that pretty much everyone uses in security, and that's called Python, right? So just by copying this, I basically, you know, all you have to do is go to the terminal. I think I have it here. Oh, no. So you just type, you know, in the command line Python 3. We're using 3 or 4. No, not 4. Sorry, not 4. 4 is not invented yet, but I guess it's coming. All you have to do is paste all these strings, right? And hit enter. And then all you have to do is basically type the variable, and boom, you can do it from here, right? So here's your base 64 encoded, right? So what do? Do you want to come back to the CyberChef, or do you want to do it from here? Let me, in case you don't know how to do it in here, I'll show you. Give me a second. In fact, let me. Oops. If I want to encode, decode what's in here, and in case you didn't know, if you just do echo, paste the whole thing in quotes, do a pipe, and do base 64-D, that's the equivalent of doing it in CyberChef. So in case you didn't know, that's how you do it. So same thing. All right. So again, we're not using Python. We're not using the terminal. You know, I want to use this. So instead of using it in here, so here's the thing. I don't want to erase this because this is part of the malware, right? But I want to still be able to look at it. The good thing about CyberChef is you can create tabs as well. So if you create a new tab, you can just put it here and paste it. And as you can see here, because I already loaded the recipe, you know, it provided, you know, more information. And you can do the same thing as I did before. Beautify, generic code beautify or something, just to make it bigger. Sorry.
I got the front page 64, but then how did you deflate it?
Oh, good question. So if you go back to the main program,
Yeah.
we'll be able to see that what type of compression or stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that's
I don't understand it.
It's a deflate
Deflate
stream.
stream, and what's deflate stream in CyberChef? That's what I tried to do when I put it together.
let me go back to this one.
What is it, logic?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
What did you do?
I just did raw, actually I don't raw inflate 0.
Body plate?
Yeah.
We tried. Still can't get it done.
Now, did you create it on the separate tab? Because remember, instead of me putting it in here, I added another tab by clicking the plus sign here. So this opened a new tab.
Right.
And-
I put in the raw hash. Like,
Okay, and then all I did was from base 64,
Yeah.
right? And then I do raw inflate, and that's
raw
what,
inflate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I need that. Oh, that's fine.
right.
The raw inflate, that's fine.
Yeah.
So what does it do?
It's decompression.
Decompress it. So again, just so to answer that question, the reason how you find this type of stuff is because it's gonna be somewhere in the code. So that's why you have to read the whole code to see what's happening. So in this case, it's actually telling you right here, IO compression, deflate stream. And again, just like Sam did, I tried different stuff until, and I was getting confused on this particular one where I tried to deflate it, you know, and in this case, it was raw inflate. So yeah, so
Deflate.
You did the opposite of what you said.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Then beautify that.
Right? And yeah, and beautify makes it beautiful. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, anyways,
It's got its own basic support.
Yeah. yeah. So again, what is the agent for the HTTP request? Well, again, if you want to just know the answer for that is URL extract, extract URLs, and it gives you the actual URL right there.
There's others like, IP address.
Well, there is the IP address, but it's as a URL, see? So I did extract URL and gave me the IP. Now I can do extract extract IP, and it will just give me the IP. If IP, that's the only thing I'm looking at it, right? Yeah. So that's the other thing. And also notice that when I created a new tab in here, it also it creates a second tab on the bottom, right? So that's it. That's a good thing. All right. So all right, moving on. I think I have a few more code to go through. The next one is actually very cool because unless you keep trying and shooting yourself, then that's how you learn. So, but I'll give you the easy answer. So, yeah. All right. So let's see here. That's it. It is big. Yeah. All right. So same thing. I'm gonna load my exercise. All right, now I'm not gonna do any spoiler shit here because all right. So first things first, you want to get the base 64, right? And you don't want anything else. So again, do the regular expression first and just extract the base 64. And it doesn't like it. Why? Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So in this particular one, if you do it, doesn't really matter. It's not gonna work. You can increase it or decrease it. I think if you do 100, might do it. I think 200 might do it. I think we kept trying and eventually like we got it, but what we say is like, you know what, let's just skip it. Let's not do regular expression here because That was just, it wasn't worth it. All right. So in this case, so long story short on this one, after you decode this, it becomes this. Right, exactly. Right. So basically, the long story of short of this is it has been decoded 28 times in base 64.
That's what I thought. I kept reading several times. That's what I thought.
So normally, and then you do the raw inflate, it's just gonna come back to this. And this is like, what is this? Okay, this is looks like base 64. What do I have to do? If you didn't know that there are some loops in CyberChef, what is the way of doing this? Either copying that into another file and or tab and doing it that way, use the same thing, but then you're gonna end up with 28 tabs. Or basically you can drag and drop recipes or ingredients to cook it, right? There is a nice way of doing a good way in here, and this is by doing loops. It's actually called jumps, but it's basically a loop. A loop that you label it, like where you want to start and where you want to continue doing that, right? So here I'm going to show you how the reason I thought it was 28 times, or how it was 28 times, because trial and error. So I increased one. So it got to the point like, okay, so I didn't know that until after the fact, right? So I did open 28 tabs to find out that it was a 28 times. But then eventually find out that you can use the jump function or operation, and then it's gonna do it. So as you can see, here's 28, but this is how one looks. This is how two looks. This is how, going up or down. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 26, 27. You start seeing more readable code, right? In here, previous to that, you didn't see it. 28, right? And then obviously, if you do the generic code beautify, it makes it beautiful, right? So again, this is where the power of the jump function or in jump operation, it's doable, because if you don't do malware analysis, then you're fine. But there's CTFs. You don't have to do it for as a work, but if you do it as a just for fun, just playing CTFs, you will encounter something like this. So you want to know that there's operations out there that you can use in order to solve these type of challenges, right? So again, what is the PHP script here? Well, actually, it's like right here. So you can do a find for PHP, or just it's actually like right here. It's very noticeable. So that's another one. So number 5, exercise number 5. It might look easy, but it's not. Literally, all you have to do here is replace the caret, and then after that, it will basically you have to decode it for base 64, and that's it. So again, just gonna go through it really quick. First thing first, it has the caret, so you do a find and replace. So you remove the caret, and then you basically do a regular expression. So you only going to do the base 64, right? So here you go, it becomes available. Now you do from base 64 to decode it, and then you can do the decoded text, or you can do the other one, right? So in this case, I did decoded text, and here's your stuff. Now, this one, for example, does have an IP. Well, actually, it's just an URL with as an IP. No, I lied. It has URL extract URLs. I keep saying that. I don't know why. Here you go. There's two URLs. And actually, you can also, as you're playing with the regular expressions, there's options in regular expressions that are like, if you just want to find that, like here it comes with user defined, but you just want IP addresses, it will highlight it, like what are those IP addresses are. And this is the actual regular expressions. If you don't know any regular expressions, this is actually a good way to learn, because it gives you already some predetermined, fields. Email addresses, if you're looking for email, not emails in this case, but there's URLs. That's the URL, right? How about domain? I just want the domain. Well, here you go. Now, look at this example. It's not good because in this case, it provides an executable, right? .exe. Well, that's not a domain. So that's why, to be honest, and this is from experience, it's better if you just do URL, or when you do just extract URL, it's just gonna give you the URLs. And then at that point, you just copy and paste, the domain. That's it. All right. So let's see. I think I have one more. Question 6. We're getting there, guys. What is like the first thing that comes into your mind when you see it starts with 0?
Might be a file header.
Okay. So, but doesn't 0 means it's nothing, right?
Yeah, so something defines
Okay. And where do you normally see that? Like if you're opening a something, where do you normally see that? Okay. So again, trial and error. This is a reverse file. So if you like flip it, that's the bottom. So let me load this really quick. And as you can see, this one was not difficult. But so right now, all the zeros are on top and all the numbers are on the bottom. If you're into forensics and you know by heart the how files initiate with, that's you could pretty much say, oh, this is a .exe file or HTML or something along the line, right? In this case, well, everything started at the bottom, but I don't know what it is. So what I'm gonna do is gonna reverse it by character. So as you can see on the top, now I started with something, right? And there's I have a document. I don't know where that is right now, which has all the headers for forensics. So when you're looking into stuff, basically you're like, it's almost like a cheat sheet. It's like, oh, that's a PNG, that's a JPEG, that's a that move, whatever. Okay, so now, now we can see, okay, there's a something here, and looks like it's hex, just because it has Fs and it doesn't have anything other than Fs, anything about Fs. So I can definitely do from hex. And here, now starts becoming more of a, oh, okay, it looks like an executable. Why? Anyone wants to give it a try? Why? It's an executable. Exactly. So in this case, the MC is, and I don't know the guy's last name. I know it's Mark, and the last name is Z, and it was a Microsoft programmer in the 70s who created the PE files, and he kept the name. So when you see MZ, that means it's in like my Windows executable. And especially when you see this program cannot be run in DOS mode, well, that tells you it's a Windows executable, right? That's right there. And then actually, like right here, it says P and all that. So again, you don't know that until you start playing with, packet capture and start downloading files and stuff like that. That's when you really learn this, right? So okay, do I really want? No, here's my production machine, and I'm just looking at this. Do I want to run this? Probably not. How is another way to check if a file is malicious? By hash, right? So in this case, normally if I want to get a hash for something, I can just do, let's see, I don't know what I have available. Let's see. I just do like shasum, and then I don't know, utorrent, that wouldn't be. And here is the hash for the hash, the SHA-1 for utorrent that web and whatever, right? So that's one way of doing it if you know the command line. But if you don't, well, you have CyberChef to do that, right? So at that point, if you play with SHA-2, which goes over 200 or something, it gives you the different types of one. So normally, I'll just do 256 just because. At this point, the easiest way to do this is copy, go to VirusTotal. If you're not familiar what VirusTotal is, it's a way to check if a website or hash or IP address or something is malicious, if it has been reported by other security companies, if not. So URLs, obviously strict for URLs. Search is for IP addresses, URLs, domains, file hashes, everything else. In this case, I'm gonna paste the hash. And here you go. This is how malicious it is, right? It, depending on the company who saw it, a lot of them are saying it's a backdoor, obviously malicious, like 70 or 64 companies are saying that it's malicious, it's a Trojan. Then from here, you can just go to the details, see what it has, basically that's just basic malware analysis, looking at the open source intelligence on files, on websites and stuff like that, just to aid in your help. And here obviously gives you more information of what it does, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And also, if you are a subscriber, if there's something in the community, they will provide more information of what it is and stuff like that. But if you just want to know it's good or bad, this is just a good way to tell. Depending on what it is, you probably will see some files that are like 10 and below, and you're questioning like why the rest of the companies are not, marked as malicious. It could be many reasons, right? For example, I work for a security company. When I see something is not marked as malicious by my company, what I do is I send that file to the antivirus lab, and if they think that it's malicious, they will create a signature, and that's going to be updated here. Otherwise, don't. So when I used to work in the same secure operations center for the same company, when I was getting like fish and stuff like that, sometimes I was the first one to discover it. Like no one else did. And the way to know if it's the latest is by reanalyzing the file, right? So I'm actually gonna do that right now so you can see it. But you can do the same with URLs. It will say that it was last week or it was just a couple of hours. Don't trust that. Trust the latest one, because that's gonna tell you, in fact, it is basically the latest update. So again, when I search for the files or URLs, I refresh it, it still comes out clean, but I know like I just went there, it's malicious, how do I report it? Well, I went to my company and told them, hey, it's a malicious URL, mark it as URL, as a bad URL. And within 30, 45 minutes, they updated, and we were like the first ones to get it. So that's the perks of working for a security company that when you find something, they can publish it like right away. Well, depends, but I don't want to go into that. Let's leave it at depends what it is. There's NDAs, there's a bunch of stuff, like,
My website keeps getting blocked. People keep reporting my website is malicious.
oh,
I keep having to take it off.
yeah. Yeah.
Or somebody else, other people who report my malicious.
Yeah.
When my clients complain they can't get through. Well, it's all full of hacking information and signatures and match.
So-
Instructions for hacks which match, it's-
Oh, like automated.
yeah, it's. People get confused.
So-
Every year or so I have to tell people to knock it off and take it off the list.
So I'll give you an example, and that's a good question. And since this is just a learning experience, when I submit URLs, let's see, here, you put the URL, and this is not just the company, but other companies. You can suggest what it is. If someone mentions that it's a hacking, illegal or unethical, hacking, it doesn't have to be malicious, right? There's malicious, there's a spam, there is remote access, there is phishing and malicious websites. If you have a web content firewall that it's basically checking that, might not necessarily, like, in order to make it to virus total as a malicious, has to be either phishing or malicious website. Even if it's spam, it will say in virus total it's a spam, right? But this particular one, if in his case, it's hacking, right? So someone can report as hacking. If your company has a web content filter and it's blocking all types of hacking content, it will block it. It doesn't necessarily it's bad, it's just that it's just the content, it's hacking, right?
Then you could work with systems, like, for example, so you could actually write a evaluation script and have like thousands of people report that to hack over there.
Yeah.
And then maybe even do that.
So
Not suggesting that anybody do things like that. What people are.
hey, it's just a learning experience, right? So, and we're not using we're using their IP address here. So. Anyways, yeah. We should go back and do the wireless hacking, so we can do the antennas. Practice the antennas. Not use the ones from here, but the ones from. Anyways, I didn't say that. Sorry. All right, so that was question number 6. So again, the whole point on this one is, there's stuff that is reversed. So sometimes it's not encoded or obfuscated. It's just that it's reversed, and all you have to do is reverse it to make it more readable. That's it. All right. I did do number 5. Yes. You want me to go ahead and do it again, or wait? No, that was number 5. No. That's not.
You did number 500, how you can do it. Yeah, that one. There's all the carrots.
Oh, the ones on the carrots. Yeah. Let me do that right now. It was just basically so first I find a replace for all the carrots, so it becomes this, just to get rid of them. Then I just did a regular expression to get rid of the PowerShell.exe, right? So I get rid of that, and then I did base 64, and then from there I did in this case I decode text, which is the same thing, right? And then that's when I showed that this particular one has two URLs, right? Yeah. Let's see here. This one was long. Okay. Other uses, I think I'm done with that. I think the last one I had was the picture. And that was part actually of the base cyber RSA CTF. So let me load that picture because I'm going to show you something that when I gave the talk on OSINT and I show basically, how much information you're exposing when you're taking a picture, right? And I said, there's ways to, remove that information. So I'm going to show you one way, but first let me go all the way to the top here. So this is part of the OSINT page. So if you want to use that picture, the file is right here. So this is the image one. So if you want to use that one, you put it in here. Otherwise, if you're using the base cyber, it's gonna be under CTF files. And it's this picture right here. So that's the picture we're gonna be working on. So to make things faster, let me load it in here. So see that you can also upload files directly into CyberChef. You don't have to like copy and paste. You can actually, open it as an input, right? So, so I'm gonna open this picture as an input. Now, before I do that, I turn off the auto bake because basically, again, it's gonna try to load something and it's gonna crap out. So that's the reason why I said there are some cases, especially when you're loading files, that you want to turn it off. So I'm gonna load it, gonna open it. All right. So to answer the questions from the CTF, which is when was the image created? What is the image size? What is the make of the camera that took the picture? What is the model of the camera that took the picture? Where the picture was taken? All that. I'm gonna use CyberChef for basically answer all those questions. Okay. So first things first, how do I get to just to learn about this? Well, oops, I don't want that. I'm gonna use the operation called extract EXIF. EXIF, I don't remember what it stands for, but basically, long story short, all types of files, whether it's audio, video, pictures, has that metadata, and it's just metadata that it contains information of where the picture was taken, a lot of stuff. So just by going through here, you can see that this particular picture was taken by a Samsung, and then the model was the SM-G955U1. If it was an Apple device, it just tells you it's an iPhone 7, it's an iPhone 8. But in this case, it's Samsung. Samsung wants to be, weird at times. So at this point, you have to Google what type of device was this. So in this case, it was a Galaxy S Plus 8. That's the model number of that. Okay. Now, in this case, I'm just going to start answering these questions as we go through. So we have the latitude and longitude here, and those are the things that you need in order to answer the further questions here, as like where was actually this taken. So normally you will take this, copy it, and paste it into another place, but you have regex, and as I mentioned before, even in here, where's my stuff? You have for EXIF, you want to get, especially the GPS and stuff like that. There's ways to do it. So in this case, I'm going to enable my regular expression for the GPS latitude and longitude. And as you can see here, oh, again, I have the auto bake off, so it didn't do it. But here you go. So I can just do highlight matches, which is going to highlight in here, or I can do, list matches, right?
Mark, I have
Um,
a quick question.
oh, sorry. I didn't
Sorry.
realize that I have people in the back. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just one more thing. When you're putting the image into the input, do you have to
Uh-huh.
do anything special besides copy and paste? Or
No, all you do is basically open, select this one, open file as an input, select the file that you want to do, right? And then open it. That's it. When you do that, and let me do that again. When you load the file, it will give you like options like download, which you don't want to download it because you already have it, or you can do show all, right? So in this case, you don't have to do anything. You can, if you want to see the picture, you can do render image, and actually it's going to show you what the picture is. That's another way to look at it. So this is also great for stenography. If you're into CTF and looking into stenography, there is, ways of like render image. There was another one. Let's just do image. Normalize image, I think. Oh, here, extract the RGBA. And it will tell you like the different colors, like how it's gonna look on red, how it's gonna look on green only and on blue only. So again, that's a whole different topic. That's actually a whole different class just on stenography, but I'm just giving you just the basic one. So, but yeah, to answer your question, no, you don't need anything else. When you load the picture, nothing is gonna come up in here. That's when you're gonna start like, the first thing you wanna do is extract the EXIF. That's it. So let me do that right now. Any other questions, by the way, from the audience here or online, questions that I can answer? All right. So I mentioned that I want to extract the EXIF. This is the EXIF for this particular picture. Now I want to find out the GPS. Where was this taken? So at this point, I extracted the just that, and because I want to make it as quickly as possible to get the information, I want to have it ready to basically so I can do just like a copy up and paste into like Google, right? For example. So what I'm doing here is by doing a find and replace, I'm removing the extra the enter or the paragraph, and I'm separating as a comma. The reason why is because Google has the API for you want to look where the pictures are taken and stuff like that. You can do that, and there is a format, so you have to go to like the Google website and look at it that way. So here I'm gonna do another find and replace, basically saying copy what's from the previous line and paste it into here, and this is the actual query for that. What I will suggest is if you're gonna save this particular recipe, check the parameters for the Google side, because they change it frequently, right? So might work today, but next month might not work. So with here, all I have to do is basically copy that, and it will tell me where exactly was this picture taken. And you will be like, oh, that's not possible. Well, first, if you look at the picture, let me open the picture here. Give me a second. Where's all my stuff? Right. Well, no. Let's review the picture here. That's San Francisco. That's a Golden Gate. Obviously, I was not in a cruise because otherwise I cannot take a picture. Good, but no, it was not a helicopter. It was not a drone, though. It was not a drone because my drone doesn't take, well, that type of pictures. Plus, I don't think I'm allowed to fly on bridges. Although I do have a story where there used in Reno there used to be the balloon races. I'm talking back 2015. There was no laws, regulations for drones. I took my drone on top of the balloons and record everything. And all I hear, like I'm not in the event. I'm just like, a mile from there. And basically all I hear is like, oh, we spotted a drone, please return it back or return or whatever. I was going to, as I was going to, I guess they sent a jammer that make my drone came back where I was, but then after that was unusable. I have to, it was through DJI Phantom 3. That was my drone. And basically I have to replace the board. I could not use it after that event. And I learned my lesson, to do. And then, then after that, they start coming up with licenses and regulations. So I got my my drone license. So blah blah blah.
Isn't that when on top of the really bad ones?
No, no, no. So
They jam it, they jam the software, so how can it stop?
I don't know how they jam it. I'm assuming it's just like a connection that to break the connection so I don't control it anymore. But because it still has that particular drone had a like comeback type of thing, it came back where I was. So that was a good thing. I didn't lose the drone. It was like $1,500 back then. So yeah, that's
But how does that not violate FCC for jamming? 'Cause it's very.
there was no loss when I did it. I could not get sued
No,
for
no,
doing what I
I'm
was
not saying
doing.
you're not to jam, 'cause there's strict rules with FCC, you cannot jam.
Well,
I tried it because I was talking to my son.
Yeah.
about it. He says, why can't we do that? So we have better internet. I'm like, you can't do that because the FCC, it's
Right.
illegal. You won't be having some federal.
in this case, I actually was violating. I'll tell you why, because the balloon, they're, if one of looking, forget the name of it, but let's say I fly by one of those balloons and breaks. Yeah, the balloon breaks and then it goes down. So I can be liable for that. So what they try to do is prevent me to cause a disaster, which I don't know what I was thinking about. I was younger too. I didn't know what I was doing. So that's my argument. I didn't know what I was doing. I was younger. They didn't in those particular cases, no, because it was controlled by. They do have like just like in the airport, they have like so airplanes don't fly by because the balloons are all over. They have a control center, right? So yeah. Anyways, so this one was actually it was in a C-130 military aircraft. I was here. I was actually in the window when I took it, but they let me be when they lowered the back of the cargo. I was literally hanging with my legs taking pictures. So that was a good timing. But anyways, so if you look at it kind of just from the perspective when the picture was taken and go back in here, I mean, this is now Google. This is just kind of giving you where could possibly was. It's pretty close. I mean, I don't know. It was just pretty close. Maybe because again, the GPS on the phone and everything mislead, but it is pretty close. So it's I want to say that it's somewhere. It was somewhere around right here when it was taken. It's just that it recorded with these particular ones, right? So yeah, and that's why you have the picture. Actually, somewhere around right here, and that's why you have the picture of everything else, right? Yeah. All right. So that basically answers the first few questions. The others, let me see. Where's my, here we go. The other questions, like as far as like the time. So you notice that let's see.
So So Marco, if the picture is old,
Mhm.
probably about like 10 years or so. Because on the, what's that, the trial, Amber,
Mhm.
she submitted a photo of her injury, but they say they cannot analyze what system
Oh.
it comes from because it has to be analyzed in that computer.
Right.
Operating system, and it's
Yeah.
so old,
Yeah,
and because the computer is no longer available, they can't, determine it for sure that
Yeah.
it is.
well, let me go back to that because actually that's a great point. So that's where, how do you, there's so much information on this picture. How do I don't show that, information? So,
Yeah,
Uh,
that is if it's not removed
right.
from the system, because I know when I export photos from iPhone, from photo to my computer, some
Right.
metadata are
Mhm.
removed. And if you do
Mm.
that, and then even that, if you port it to PC from Mac, some data.
No, the data in the picture, it stays there as long as it's digital, and it was created from, in this case, a camera, right? With GPS capabilities. But regardless, let's say that it's just a camera that it was with no GPS capabilities, it will provide information that it's not seeing, normally, unless you extract the data. Also, I want to mention that the information here on XIF here, it's limited. If you actually download the actual tool XIF, the XIF tool, there is more information you can get from there, and you can automate and you can do a bunch of stuff because it's a command line tool. But again, just because we're showing this. So here, one of the questions here is, when was the picture taken and when was this created, right? So here's the creation date. Now, what is this type of format right here, if anyone knows? That is a time, um, it's in a time format, but it's not readable. Unix, okay. So to make things easier, again, regular expressions, I'm gonna extract the thing here, and look, automatically, the magic one tells me that I can do from Unix timestamp, and it will give me that, which I already have it here. So here you go. I took it on November 5th, 2017 at 11:56 with 58 seconds UTC. Now, this is actually not true because it was Pacific time zone. It wasn't UTC. So that's the only misleading thing that I see here. Because that is true, but then if you compare it to actual UTC, it's not. UTC is 8 hours away from us, right? So it will be, 7 p.m. UTC, right? So 1900, 56, right? In this case, the phone says UTC, and that's misleading, by the way. So whoever is doing forensics and they're looking at that, they can clearly say that just by looking at the picture, it wasn't taken at night because November 7 p.m. it's dark already. I could not take that picture. That's when you start thinking, it's like, is this really legit? Without looking at the numbers here, it's just like, I'm just opening the picture. Okay, doesn't look like it was actually taken at 11:56 UTC, which is, 7:58 UTC, the real number, right? So they have to kind of like go back and stuff like that. So as an FYI, yeah, again, this is Pacific time zone, not UTC, but it is what it is. Yeah, so that's another one. And then same thing. You can actually, as I was going through the other example for the coordinates, you can actually get the coordinates here by just doing GPS, something extract GPS, or map something, show and map. And then, so on show and map, it also gives you, where was taken. Now, the only difference between this one and the API from Google is this is not the greatest. In fact, if you compare the two pictures, right, of where was taken to this one, let me, let me see. So, so this with this, it's pretty close, but I've seen others where they're not that close. So that's why if you want to get the real stuff, get the GPS from the stuff from Google. So yeah. Let's see. I think that's it. Although, oh, so going back to your question, I'm glad that you mentioned it. So how do I remove this information from here? Well, there's actually if you just go through the image or multimedia options here, there is plenty, right? The best way to do this is by just like if you just type exif, it gives you two options: extract or remove. Okay, so let me remove exif because I want to share this picture with you, but I don't want more information. I don't want to show you that information. So at this point, what I do here is I gonna remove exif, see that the output it's something, but it doesn't have the exif, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna download it, and I'm gonna call it picture underscore no exif, just JPEG. I'm gonna click OK. Look, it downloaded to my download folders, so I can delete that one. I can let me clear this as well. Let me input it. Let me go to my documents, open the input. So now I have the picture again, and I want to extract the exif. Zero tax, just to remove everything. So like, let me do a comparison, right? So I'm gonna get the input from the other one. Let's see. Like that's the one. Is that the one? Hold on. I think that's the one. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, here it is. PDF files. Here it is. See, on this is the original, right? This is information, but this is the picture we saved, and it doesn't have any information, right? So that's another way of doing it. Last but not least, I think this is, I don't have anything else sort of challenges, but notice that there's other ways that things that you can use, when you're doing your investigation, especially. So like, for example, if you want to do, just want to know who's the owner of a particular IP or domain, you have, as part of your investigation, all you have to do is type, like, for example, the address, and as you bake it, it will give you information from the DNS request for that. Now there is a specific, you want to do the MX, just for the MX records. Again, you can give you the MS records only for that particular one. NS, same thing. So it can just give you the answer data only. So you'll find this if you do an NS lookup or dig or other commands out there. But let's say that I'm doing the malware that I show you, and I extract the domain, right? And right there, I want to know where those belong to, like without leaving CyberChef, right? So this is another way to look at it instead of like going copy and pasting, going to the other screen, right? That's basically how you do it, right? Um, and you know, the end of the story of this presentation is I didn't even cover probably not even quarter of what this tool is capable of. I just show you like the tip of the iceberg. This tool is very comprehensive in terms of things that you can do. It's still growing. It started probably 5-6 years ago, and how it started to where it is now, it's just completely different. People, you know, you can contribute if you. It's written in JavaScript, by the way. So if you're a JavaScript developer, you know, they're always looking for something for people to do and fix stuff. So if you want to contribute, here's the page. This is where you can contribute. This is where you can see demos. You can see even stuff that they have. This one, the decrypt and disassemble shellcode. For the ones who took the challenge from Google, this is shellcode, by the way. So you know, take a look at it. You know, just whenever you have a chance. And what else? That's it. Any questions? Yes. Yep. Mhm. So there's hope that military can provide tools. Yeah. 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 So, or backdoors. I want to say not malware, but backdoors. Like,
So the FBI probably have an advanced version of this, right? This is like for the public.
I mean, this is for everybody. It's not. This is not a but yeah,
More advanced.
But it
Yeah.
doesn't have to have the military side.
yeah.
They can build their own based on separate to the project.
So, oh, you know what? Actually, let me. Thank you for showing that. So there's this guy. So I mentioned that I took a class, and it was about 15 hours worth of information. And I want to definitely give shout outs to this guy who is from network defense, and he has the class. In fact, let me show it here. That's not it. So this is the guy who's the creator on that class. His name is Matt, and he has like a bunch of CyberChef's recipes. And if you just look at his recipes here, you know, it has a lot for everything. Like if you're doing for invoke obfuscation to like decrypting Cobalt Strike to everything else. You know, creating a Wi-Fi QR code to you name it, from a sandbox email to a malicious URL, blah blah. Again, he has tons of recipes, so definitely take a look at it. He has a class at let me see, network defense.io. You know, Chris Sanders is obviously the guy who created this site, but it has multiple classes, and this one, the CyberChef for security professionals. That's the class I took, and it's worth every penny. It made my life different when I took it. So shout outs to them. And so how many teams are use CyberChef, and what is the primary limitations in your view? Well, I did mention some of the limitations. Obviously, loading bigger files, right? Sometimes it will make the computer slow, or it will not. It will be unresponsive. In terms of teams, if you have an internal server that is just dedicated for CyberChef, it's great because then you can share. You know, you don't have to copy and paste and send it by email. You can just do what I basically been doing, loading recipes as we go through and modify it on the go. So limitations again, it's a web-based, you know, if there is gonna be bugs, because it's a open source project, you know, whoever's in charge of the project they'll do the changes, but you know, sometimes it will, it will crap out and there's no like support. You can submit tickets, right, to have those fixed, but again, don't know how long it's gonna take. There's many limitations, obviously, still, like there's no like an easy way to, like, let's say take a malware hash and automatically do like an auto like virus total, recipe there, or operators. There's not something like that, but there is like the thing I did with the GPS coordinates, right? Where you can get the API from how it works with virus total, and basically you can do the same thing I did, right? Pasting it where it's supposed to be, and that's it. But again, the learning curve is not bad, but it's also, everything looks very like, oh yeah, it's easy to do, but as you can see, there's many ways that you can do things. And just from there, you can sometimes hit. It's just I'm not getting the answer I got. Like, for example, with the malware that had a loop of 28 times. That one is specific. Like, I literally have to do 28 tabs in order to like see it, right? I didn't know until I did that. And eventually I knew there was a better way of doing it, but it was just trial and error, and you be persistent and all that. Tools like this, honestly, the terminal, if you're especially in Linux, if you're a Kung Fu terminal, Ninja, you can do literally everything in there, and Python. Sam, here has a Python class or workshop that it's basically shows a lot of the stuff that I show here can be done in Python. And if you know Python, be my guest, right? For the people who doesn't know Python, then, well, it's again another learning curve. So which one is easier, drag and drop or type? Well, here you go, right? So that's your answer right there. You choose the right tool for the job. And again, you have many tools that does it, commercial, open source, but yeah, so that's the answer right there. So yeah.
Michael, do you know if this tool has like an API to integrate other tools?
There is an API thing. In fact, let's see. I think I had it. Hold on. Let me find it in here. I hate this one. Hold on. Let me look at my bookmark. In fact, I bookmarked it for that reason. For that specific reason, because there's a.
You can have like one server for the entire
Yeah.
right?
It's actually right here. Let's see. Here you go. RESTful API server. So it's a CyberChef server where you can do APIs, and here are the example for those. So yeah, have not played with it. In fact, I am not the API guy. I either stick with the terminal or CyberChef at this point. That's it. What else? Oh, and I did mention that there's answers for the recipe. So here is the link for the recipes if you want to take a picture of it. The recipes that I use for everything I did are in there. So be my guest. And what else? Just waiting for people to take the picture. And obviously my reference, the guy Matt, it's awesome with his CyberChef recipes. He also has a lot of IOCs that you can use for practice, not just for his recipes, but in general. And the class I mentioned, And again, if you don't have any questions, here's my info. You know where to find me. We're here every month. Again, for the people who came late, we're gonna have a NFT CTF coming on here in Mountain View in Hacker Dojo. We're helping them to N-Chain. It's creating, sponsoring and hacking NFT CTF. So there's gonna be prizes. Otherwise, we're gonna be back here on July 29 for a pre-DEFCON CTF, multiple CTFs. We're planning to, the winner of the main CTF is gonna have a ticket for DEFCON, but it has to be a solo player. But more to come in that respect, because I thought we had a sponsor, but they have not responded back to me. So I'm not gonna take them out of the list until they say no. But if you would like to sponsor it, or your company would like to sponsor it, please be my guest. I'll be more than happy to take that. And thank you guys. I appreciate it. We have a lot of people today. In fact, if you don't mind, I'll take a picture. I normally take a picture from the back. This time I'll try to blur the pictures if you want, but there you go. Yeah, just cover it.
Because it creates, an alibi.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. Is there a Discord invite for Pacific Hackers? Yes, Sharon. Let me see if Rod is in there. He can provide the Discord page. Rod, are you there? Probably not. He probably left. He said, this guy talks a lot. I'm not gonna stay. Rod, no, he left. See, I told you, he left. Oh no, he's there. All right. I'll get back to you on that. Actually, in fact, send me an email, Shannon. Here's my email, marco@pacifichackers.org. And I'll make sure I'll send it to you. And JC, will the WISIS be in person only? We'll make the check this page again when time comes, because if we make it available, we'll put all the information in here. So check on that, because we don't know yet. So but yeah, so guys, thank you so much. Thank you for spending time with me on this beautiful Saturday. I know it's hot out there, so thank you. Share it. And, there's stickers here. If you didn't get a sticker, we have multiple stickers now. So we just don't only have one, but multiple. So you're right there. Yeah. So again, the people on the other side, thank you. See you later, and have a nice weekend. And I'm turning off the unless there's no other questions. No questions. Cool. I'll turn off the Zoom.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Hey, Marco. Marco. Oh. No, he's not listening. Okay.